Personal trainer Dino Nowak consults and trains celebrities like actress Charlene Tilton, pianist Jim Brickman, and radio personality Delilah. Dino has learned real fitness doesn't come in a specific size or shape. His approach to complete fitness means getting healthy and whole inside and out. That's more of a challenge during the holidays, so Dino designed a workout you can squeeze in between the holiday rush.
Well, Dino is here with us, and Dino trains celebrities, among other things. And Dino, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you.
A lot of people think that celebrities are just born skinny and beautiful and so forth. Tell us the real deal.
It takes a lot of work, and a lot of times their very career and livelihood is on the line. So it's a big focus of their career and their life, oftentimes to an obsessive extent sometimes. But you know, it's always in the magazines and publications. We like to watch the celebrities, who's gained and who's lost. But it's a tough thing because their livelihood rests on their appearance.
What are some of the common myths about weight loss? You've encountered these about diet and exercise.
You know, it's this time of year we get those crash diets, and I think, you know, people need to be cautious of the instant gratification, the quick fixes. You know, me being a believer especially, we never hear in Scripture about looking and pursuing instant gratification, but we're taught the lessons of endurance and perseverance and diligence. Sure. And I think the key is not looking for a quick fix, that pill to pop, because we spend $55 to $60 billion a year on health and weight loss products, and we spend more than anyone. And if there was a way to do it, we would be the thinnest. So I think that's a key as well too. And I think, you know, even within the Christian population, there's things that God has done and done miracles in people's lives, and oftentimes that's used to create product lines. And I think we need to give God glory for those miracles and not try to profit off them. So beware of that quick fix, instant gratification, and the methods need to glorify Him, not just the end results.
What about losing fat and losing weight? What's the difference?
Big distinction. All diets predominantly talk about losing weight. Yeah. You know, the Atkins diet was popular a while ago, and they always talked about weight. But what happens is you end up losing a lot of water, muscle tissue, and so actually your body fat percentage is higher. And so we get tied down to the scale, and I rarely use the scale. The only time I use the scale with my clients is when doing an assessment and looking at their body fat. So you can't get caught up in that, especially women, because there's so much daily fluctuations in their hydration levels that your scale, you might lose 2 pounds one day and pick up 3 the next. So
you lose, I mean, you use measurement inches, or you use body fat? If you do, how do you get the body fat?
We'll do a couple things. One, you can do circumference measurements with the tape measure and doing that. And then there's some great ways to do the body fat. The most accurate is where they dunk you underwater. It's not the most comfortable thing, but it's the most accurate. Otherwise, you can do skin fold calipers and kind of grab and pinch. And that's a great way. They're very affordable, and you can at least kind of track the change over time, and that's key.
What's the ideal body fat for a woman or for a man?
That's an important point. Men can go as low as 3%, for example. Women, 17, 19% is the cutoff, because you start having different hormones that are affected, menstrual cycles that begin to stop. So women oftentimes compare themselves to men as far as body fat percentage. You have TV shows that focus on weight and getting them as low as possible, but for women, 19 is the cutoff, but men can go quite a bit lower.
Roger Staubach, he was down to about 3%.
You know, a lot of those football players get down there, yep.
Well, what's this ESP wellness you're talking about?
You know, it was important. I saw, you know, being in Hollywood for 8 years, that there's always an obsession with health and weight loss, and it wasn't until you began to look at the internal reasons, the emotional and the spiritual. I mean, 75% of all overeating is due to emotional reasons. And oftentimes we use food as a comforter, as a friend, and we use food out of its proper context. Even parents, you know, with children, you know, they use food as a reward or a punishment. If you don't eat your vegetables, you're not getting dessert. Or if they had a hard day at school, you go take them out for ice cream. So unknowingly, parents are using food as a reward and comforter at an early age. So the idea was to dig deeper, deal with your motivations for change, what are my expectations, and also the issue of identity, which ties into our spiritual realm, where the number on the scale or the image I see in the mirror doesn't make up my identity. And once you can figure out your true source of identity comes from in the Lord and who He says, and yet you're His beloved, you're His child, that we can begin to stop tuning into the culture. Because what happens is, if the enemy can't get you to change the way you view the Lord, He'll get you to change the way you view yourself. And a lot of people that battle obesity and struggle with overweight, they begin to check themselves out of society, begin to check out of serving, and we're all given gifts and talents to serve, and we're told to use those, but the enemy takes us out of the battle by using our weights. And so we have to first recognize the spiritual component and realize that it is a spiritual battle at heart.
If you have some little starlet who is on the way up in Hollywood, and she's probably hit the nip-tuck guy a couple of times already, and she's overweight, what do you do to her?
It's a challenge, because in that industry specifically, we all hear about how the camera adds weight. But in that industry, oftentimes they have to get to unhealthy levels to be able to look thin while still on camera. So that's a challenge. And that's why you always see in that industry the attention on youth and appearance and thinness, and it's not often about health.
Well, these runway models, it's just horrible. They're anorexic, what they've done to those children.
Yeah, and the example that's set, and it becomes this unrealistic expectation that people can never reach, so they figure, I can't fit that ideal, so why bother? And my whole thing with dieting is, I mean, we've had diets since the 1800s. The first low-carb, high-protein diet was 1830. So it's the same repackaged information, new face on the cover, and it goes out. All diets, all of them, have a documented 95% failure rate within 6 months. So we got to have freedom and not be in bondage to food, but have that freedom.
Well, Dino's book, it's a nice title, The Final Makeover, Your 40-Day Guide to Personal Fitness. And where you get this? Is this available?
Bookstores, through Amazon, my website as well. Everyone has a couple different things we'll show, a chair. Stairs are one of my favorites.
Okay.
My clients hate it when they have stairs, but I love it.
All right.
A couple things you can do. There's different levels. We'll do a level 1 progression, then we'll take it up. The first one is just a basic step up. You're gonna step on, hold on to the rail, and step up. If that's easy, you go to the second stair. Hold on to the rail, keep your weight through the heel, and the third progression for those overachievers is a step up with a thrust where you get a separation from your foot and the step, and it's a little more cardiovascular based, so we're getting some cardio.
Okay.
Do about 10 to 15 of those.
So as I'm going to do this, this is working I'm thinking my gluteus maximus.
You can add
It's
that
working
little,
this part.
can add the little lift, but also our quadriceps, also strengthen the knee muscles too. Then you go to the second step. Yep, you got a little thrust up there.
And this is a little bit of cardio, and cardio is what helps burn the pecan pie, right?
Pecan pie. So you can have a little piece of pie, come to your stairs, do a couple, then go back and have another slice.
Okay, exactly. So no excuse by saying I can't hit to the gym. What else can we do?
Got a couple things. We got everyone's got a chair laying around the house, so let me just pull this one out here.
Okay.
What you can do, and I'll demonstrate this one for you. Lay flat on your back, and when you put your legs up on top of the chair, make sure we keep a nice L shape with those feet. Keep your heels dug into the chair.
Yeah.
Head down, hands down, lift up so we have a straight line from the knees, the hips, and the shoulders.
And what does this work?
We're working a lot of things. Working our hamstrings, our glutes, our back muscles, our stomach. If that's easy, what you do is take your hands off the floor and a little more core work as we're having to balance and stabilize.
And the key to this exercise too is to do this before the guests arrive, right?
Yeah.
So we don't want them sitting around the table and we're doing this.
You don't want to kind of say, take a break and you guys continue eating and I'll do a couple exercises here. No. But the chair, another one we can do, just a basic, again, for a beginner, starting with like a little quarter lunge. Separate your feet, you're gonna hold on, balance, and take a little step down.
Gotcha.
Okay, can you try a couple of those?
Sure, and this helps with, the lunges are always great with your thighs.
For the glute, quadriceps, exactly. And most important thing is making sure the heel stays in contact with the floor.
Okay.
So that's level 1.
Easy.
Level 2, if you got some water bottles laying around the house, what you can do is either use those.
And what's the importance of the water bottles, by the way?
They add a little resistance. So you got a couple different sizes. You're getting a little stronger, you can go with the heavier ones. And this is a diagonal lunge. Great. You're talking about using for the glute. Great exercise for it. So picture a clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock. We're in steps about 1:30, but watch me first. Diagonal lunge, weight through the heel. You're going to bend down and then push off from the bottom position using the glute and quadricep back to
What does a diagonal lunge do versus the normal lunge?
Normal lunge, we get a lot of work here in the quadriceps and also a little bit primarily in the glute, but that diagonal lunge, taking that diagonal step, bringing the weights down, almost like you're going to tie your shoe, all right there in the glute. So when you get that push off, making sure the heel stays in contact, when you get that push off, it's a lot of glute work.
Gotcha. You know what's so cool about this is that you can eat a piece of pecan pie and then do some squats. Eat another piece of pecan pie, do some more squats, because I believe it's all about the balance, Dino, don't you?
It is balance. And instead of having like half the pie, you can have a slice of it, enjoy it. But people go into this all or nothing thing where they had a little bit of pie and they say, forget it, I blew it, it's Thanksgiving, and they have half the pie.
Exactly. I think we've got, what, 1 or 2 more exercises? The ball.
You can grab one from your living room, and what you're going to do, I'll show you these two. The next one's called a V-lift, great for our core, back muscles, and also the rear. You're going to lay flat, let your hips hang off the back end, turn your toes out, lift up, squeeze, and hold about 10 to 15 of these, up and hold. Great for the legs, back,
now,
and
no
also
offense,
rear.
Dino, but I don't want to do that, but not that I don't want to do that, but I don't think I can do that. I can get on and kind of roll on the ball, but I don't think I can, lift that stuff up.
That's what's good about the ball is that you control resistance. So our next one as well, it'll tie into that.
You demonstrate this.
So for example, if this is too hard here, all you gotta do is roll forward, and it's easier. So because it's almost like a fulcrum, like a seesaw, you're changing your center point, so it becomes easier.
Gotcha.
Last one, push up, you're just gonna roll forward. If you're just starting out, here's your push up. It's easy. If you're a little stronger, you can walk it out further and further and do that push-up again.
These are just a few of Dino's gym-free exercises, and there are so many more than, actually there's over 100 in his book, and it's called The Final Makeover. Here, Dino, you hold it, okay? All right, The Final Makeover. And it's available nationwide, right, in bookstores everywhere.